Almost over. I love that.
Take it to the left now.
All right.
Andy and I doing the two-step one day.
Yeah, we should give. Oh, why does my thing still say Cheryl? Every time I got to change it. It just does not remember my change. And it says remember for future meetings. And I hit OK and it never does. So I was just going to say something about that. Oh, we should give a prize or something for people that are dancing when we start. Anybody?
I think we should do that two-step in front of the office in the parking lot there.
Yeah, just record it, post it on Facebook. It'd be awesome. All right. Good morning, everybody. It's great to see your faces. Last week the last 2 weeks, well, I jumped on the call at the end of last week. So I just wanted to share with you a couple of things. And then I actually didn't have a chance to touch base. I don't know if Michelle or Keone or Andy or anybody has some stuff that they want to go through. I do have a couple of things that I want to do today and share with you. So last week I was on the MAPS Mastermind, which they do every spring and every fall. And this is those who are in MAPS coaching, which is a Keller Williams, the high level coaching company. A lot of top agents are in that coaching. We're kind of a big supporter of coaching as we go, right? So when you're newer and you're starting and launching, the productivity coaching program is perfect to get you where you want to go. And then there's, next level coaching. And then, once you hit a certain point, you can go into MAPS coaching. So I do that for leadership. And there was some great stuff that came out of that. And one of the questions that I wanted to ask you, so I'm going to share with you a couple of takeaways that I had. And then I also wanted to ask your opinion on this because it was a big topic of conversation. So one of the things that we talked about and have been talking about, and Gary Keller's been talking a lot about, is the market center of the future, meaning what is a real, with the industry changes that we've been having and how every market is a little bit different, how do we best support you guys, right? So what are the critical roles of the future in the office? What does that look like? How do we provide the high level of service while still creating the greatest value? So creating the greatest value for you at a reasonable price, right? That's what we're always looking at. Like we're not going to be, we're not a flat fee or the cheapest place to hang your license. We're not the most expensive place. Obviously we have a cap and some other great benefits, higher splits comparatively. The question is though, how do we continue to do that? And what does that look like? And what do you guys want to see? So I wanted to run one thing by you and get your feedback based on what I see that are the next important things to implement for you. And then I also wanted to kind of have a quick culture conversation, an environment, an office conversation, and get your feedback. So the first question is in regard to, services and support for you guys. So two of the things that we're launching shortly is, and we already have we have two marketing companies we work with, obviously Scott Leroy Marketing, and then we have Aloha Real Estate Solutions. And some of you have taken advantage of both, and some of you have not taken advantage, or you might not realize the services that are available to you. So Aloha Real Estate Solutions had been providing free listing packages, although there was a process where you had to, and this was a new launch for them. So, there was a learning opportunity there initially. And so some of you, you would have to send them the photos. Once you took a listing, send them the information. They would create marketing pieces for you. And, you would send them out or work in conjunction with them. So what they started doing in Honolulu, and by the way, they hired multiple people. So now there's 5 of them. So their capacity is much greater. Hannah is the gal who runs that, who some of you know. And what they started doing in Honolulu, which has been working beautifully, and I told them I want to implement it here, is when you take a listing, so instead of you having to reach out to them when you take a listing and go through that process to get the marketing materials, they will now automatically send you a marketing package when you take a listing. So if you have a new listing that comes up on the MLS, pending or sold, you will automatically get a marketing package free to you from Aloha Real Estate Solutions in your email. So when I think about what I want to provide for you that is the most valuable, 2 things come to mind. One is marketing support, and the other is database management support, which I know we always have great intentions as agents to get our databases in order and our contacts in and get them on touch campaigns and create neighborhood nurtures for them in command, and yet we don't do it. So the other rollout that we have, that's a big rollout that we're working on the details for right now, I'm super excited. This has been 2 years in the making, by the way, is that we will be providing for you guys a database management support person, or company, right? So administrative support to Scott Lori already does your contacts imports. However, we're going to add on sorting, tagging, categorizing your database and doing smart plans and neighborhood nurtures for you. So the feedback I'm looking for is, do you agree that database management and marketing are the two most important levels of support that you want? And is there something I'm missing? Obviously, transaction coordination, which has been a process, and we've finally got that down. We've got some independents, we've got in-house, we've got, I believe that's taken care of. So looking for feedback on that. Does that make sense to you? Do you agree those are the two most important things you need? And does that sound cool? And are you on board with that before I pay everybody?
Yes and yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Great.
Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah. And if there's anything else, okay, great. So, the purpose is to take advantage of this, and we'll be rolling out the process of that. We're going to remind you that it's available. We're going to let you know who to contact. In fact, we're creating a website that is going to be a hub, what we're calling a hub, which Ray is helping us work on, where you can actually find all this information. So right now you have to log into the intranet, and there's various places and various people you have to go to. So this is the other thing we're doing, because we're creating these new services. We want you to take advantage of them because it's a win-win, right? It will help you do more business. We know that, which helps us. So it's a great partnership to help each other with our businesses. And so we'll have a website that you can go to where we'll have all the resources and all the people and the contacts and what you need to do. Any other comments about that? Or is there anything now that, because we're in the process of building it, that you would like to see that I didn't mention that kind of goes in conjunction with that? Or something out of left field that we need to consider? Because this is the conversation, right? In masterminds, it's like, what are the best things to do and how do we do it? Any other, if you want to, you can put it in the chat box or let me know individually or send me an email. Yes.
I have a question. Good morning. When I signed up, for real estate, like they say that like the brokerage gets leads, and I know that you guys have a lead team and that's through Zillow, but I was just curious, what do you guys do with the leads that, like, let's say they call the market center, like somebody's interested in listing their home, like how do those leads get diverted through the agents or
that's a great question, Kayla. So two things I want to address. One is the lead team program, which by the way it was in beta testing for several months, and we went through the idea is we're beta testing it. I mean, we now have a group, and my goal is to scale that to the market center, to the rest of the agents. It takes a process. So we're failing forward. We're learning right now. It is expensive. It's a big investment of time and energy and effort and money. And Cheryl Ramos has been helping tremendously with getting that together and organized, and where it's something that we can turn into scalable for more agents. So I just want to let you know in case anybody had questions about that, and you can talk to me about it if you want to. To answer the question about other leads, so when we first opened the office, that was much more common, meaning where we would get calls because we were new to Maui. People didn't know who was with the company, or the agents hadn't built their individual relationships to get the leads directly. So we would get them. At that time, what we did is we dispersed them to our agent leadership council, because those are agents that were, showing up and helping lead the office. And so that's what we were doing. And unless it was something that other group of agents paid for, because we did have a situation where other agents paid for their own website. So they got the leads from that, which is totally, anybody can do that. Currently, though, I would tell you it's very uncommon. And this is what we wanted. Whereas possibly other brokerages that brand themselves might get a little bit more in like leads from corporate or whatnot. We, again, encourage the agent to develop their own relationship. So it's very uncommon now that we would get a lead. It happens periodically. When it happens, typically it goes to the Agent Leadership Council first. That's one of the benefits of being on the Agent Leadership Council, because they dedicate time, energy, and effort to help other agents in the office succeed. And And if it's a company or if it's a client where there's a better fit, like we have an agent that may specialize in a certain area, it's going to ultimately be whatever is the best fit for that person. Again, though, I don't want you to think our model has always been in Keller Williams teaching our agents how to fish and not throw fish in their lap, because we believe that makes better business owners. And we want you to be able to succeed and do business anywhere you are, anywhere you go at any point in your career. So that is our model. That's always been our model, which is why that is the case. However, because there has been a shift in the industry and we are now competing against tech companies, Amazon is not completely in the real estate business yet, although they do some things. You know, we have Zillow, we have Redfins, we have just a lot of tech companies that are getting into the real estate space and business. You have mortgage companies that are now doing that with realtors. So things are changing, and our goal is now to be more diversified in where that business comes from so that we can make sure we're supporting you guys at all levels. Does that answer your question?
You can also use your command and start working your referral network with agents around the world, really. I mean, I did I got a lead off of it. I don't even really sell real estate anymore. And I got like $1 million lead off of it, referral off of it. So
that's awesome.
It's a good network for sure. Because people want Hawaii.
And that's the point, is to help generate leads. Okay, wait, I have a question about Scott Leroy marketing. No, they're not going away, Bonnie. That's a good question. So Scott Leroy will continue. We're continuing working with them either way. The question is whether they're going to help us with some of the database management. We're actually looking at having them initially. They were really excited when we told them about it. Latasha was talking to him and I talked to Scott yesterday, because they do this individually for agents right now, and they don't do it for offices, for market centers. So they love the idea that that this is a beta testing opportunity for them, because I mean, we're just, so you know, we're leading the pack in this. Like when I brought this up in the mastermind, all the other team leaders were like, oh my God, we're going to do that. So Scott Leroy hasn't been doing it for all the offices, although they do it for the agents. So this will give them an opportunity. This is another example of a win-win. By us working together, it gives us an opportunity to benefit you guys. And then it gives them an opportunity to create now a package that they can go scale and offer to other Keller Williams offices. So we are still working with them on that. I believe what we're going to do is work with them and possibly this elite VA company who's been very successful in helping some of you guys. So I think we're going to test it out with both of them and see which one you guys like better. So we might have 50 of you work with Scott Leroy and 50 of you work with Elite VA. They will be doing the same things though. So that's a good question. On the Big Island, we have a list of the roster. We rotate leads put on the list. So Andy's saying that on the Big Island, they do the lead program a little bit differently as far as if leads come into the office, which they may have more right now on the Big Island because they're newer and they'll be launching as a market center. And then the West Side does have floor, which Keller Williams in general has never been really a big fan of floor because it's a very passive way like to get business. And we like people to be proactive and have constant, be in control. However, I'm not saying people don't, or there haven't been some great opportunities there. So there is a floor schedule for Whalers Village, just FYI as well, just because that was what they used before. And that's the location of the office, and the agents there wanted it. And we're very much about, look, I mean, we listened. They said it's really important to them. So we said, okay, fine. And that's how we work together. Okay. So before it gets, Michelle, I do want to make sure if you have anything that you cover that, because I'm going to show a Jeff Woods video where we're going to do a fun exercise together. And that's going to take about 10 minutes. Do you have anything, Michelle?
Okay. I just have one brief thing that I'm researching to let everyone know. I'll get back to them next week. There is discussion about whether landlords can require their tenants to be vaccinated. I mean, we just keep going down the rabbit hole with COVID. So I got that question. I don't think so, but I'm getting legal advice. I would think, just my gut, that that's a fair housing violation, but we're in a crazy world, so I don't know. I will update you guys next week when I have a definitive answer. If you have any unique questions along the lines of COVID, please shoot me an email. We are going to be updating our COVID policy as the governor releases new rules into the state, anticipated sometime by November 1. So I'm trying to keep my hands wrapped around that for the company. And I just want to tell everyone, have a great week. That's it
Thank
for
you,
today.
Michelle. And a reminder, that's a good segue into a reminder for everybody who does come into the office, any of the offices, whether that's Kahului, Kihei, the West Side. When you are in the common areas, we are required by the current rule to wear masks. And that has to be adhered to because, well, for many reasons. I'm just going to say, though, one of the big reasons is keep in mind, we have employees too, as a company. And so that is critically important. We have to, so in addition to you being agents and independent contractors and those rules and what is currently the rule, which we do need to follow as a business, it puts us at a liability as a business. And we want to stay in business and continue to be able to support you in your business. So please adhere to that. If you have a private office, in the private office, you can do, you can take your mask off. However, in the common areas, please be respectful of that. And we want our team members, our executive team, to be able to actually be in the office with you. And if people aren't adhering to the policy, we can't do that. So there you go.
And let me
Ray
add,
wouldn't look
just
good
add
with
to that.
COVID. Okay.
And just to add, if you are not complying with this policy, Ray or I or another member of the executive team will ask you to leave the office. I mean, we don't want to get in a debate with you about your personal beliefs. Everyone's got their own set and entitled to that. But we have a huge liability for the company. So don't be offended if you're asked to leave if you choose not to wear a mask.
We
Thanks,
do
guys.
have
We
sign-in
love you.
sheet in the offices also. It's more for contact tracing. So if you come in, if you could just sign in real quick, answer the few
Yeah.
questions, and
Yeah.
have fun.
Anyway. Okay. Cool. All right. So next, I do want to play this video. I did want to mention that I did see, for those of you who had not seen that, and maybe you guys can clarify if it varies per county. I believe it's statewide now, although I know each county sometimes can have different as far as type of property and their loan limits. I did see that the Fannie and Freddie new conforming loan limits were released for next year for 2022. So I don't know exactly when that takes effect. Maybe some of you do, maybe Mark, you do. I don't know if you're still even in that world at all, but then does anybody know, or who wants to guess? Okay, Starbucks card, the new loan limits for Hawaii for Fannie and Freddie 2022. Don't Google it. No,
935,000.
yes. Well, okay, almost, very close. Actually, that's not exactly, it's really close. 937,500. But I'll give you credit for that, Kayla. And how crazy is that? Have we ever seen that ever in the life of the world of history? Like, that is insane, right? How crazy is that's high. Okay. Anyway, so cool for us. All right, I'm going to show you guys a video. We're gonna. Jeff Woods was on. Who knows who Jeff Woods is? Anybody heard of his name before? He is the co-author, or actually he's a co-founder. Right? It's technically, I mean, he was involved in the book, but he's not co-author. But he runs the One Thing. He does like the podcast with Jay Papasan, and the One Thing is like his deal. Anyway, he was a guest speaker on Monday, 2 days ago, for our leadership training. And I wanted to share his exercise and video with you because I thought it was pretty cool and fun, and you guys will really appreciate this. So I'm going to share this. Do I have the ability? Yes, I do. All right, so hang tight one sec. Okay, I think I got the sound thing in order, although tell me if you cannot hear it, or give me a thumbs up if you can.
7.5 minutes.
It's all good, man. Hey, everybody. I'm Jeff Woods. I run the company behind the one thing. We are going to invest the next 11 minutes to talk about how do we better invest our time through the end of the calendar year. Now, I just said something. I said invest our time. I want you to interact in the chat box. How many of you wake up every day and genuinely believe you invest your time? You have clarity on what matters most. You invest it and you hold it accountable to delivering a return professionally and personally. Give me a 1 if yes. Give me a 2 if no in the chat box.
Oh, this is interesting, Jeff.
Didn't you have a goal to get like break the chat box there or something? I'm going to
Do
help you, my
this.
friend.
Do what he
Yeah,
says
a lot of.
too, by the way,
By
in the
it's
chat box.
all 1s and 2s. There's no.
No, I saw a 1.5.
There you go.
There's
Here's why we talk about this. Most people wake up every day spending their time. They fire up their computers, and what's the first thing they check? Put your answer in the chat box. You and your team, you fire up your computer, and that's right, you check email until you have to go to your very first what? You're checking email till you have to go to your very first meeting. You get out of the meeting, you have 5 minutes, and you find yourself checking what? Email again. And then somebody calls you and says, hey, you got a minute? And because you're a team player, you say what? You say yes. And how
It's
many
all
of you-
happening too fast, Jeff. I can't.
I know.
I'm not doing it.
I got you, Jason. How many of you have ever had one of those days where even though you were really busy, you genuinely questioned, what did I get done? If so, put me in the chat box. We've all been there, but what we have to acknowledge is that's a reflection of us spending our time. The purpose of this conversation is to wake up and ask the question, how do we start investing it? How do we actually invest it and hold it accountable to delivering that return? Now, I could talk at you for 11 minutes, but that's not really my style. How many of you like to play a game? If so, put winning in the chat box. All right, perfect. We are going to play the one thing scavenger hunt. So this is one of my favorite games that we like to play. While I pull up the slide, I'm going to tell you, here's how you win the game. You win the game by getting as many points possible in the least amount of time. You have to get as many points possible in the least amount of time. Now on the screen, you see a bunch of items. Each item has a point value. So if you have a pen, it's worth a point. If you went to Costco and you had a box of 100 pens, it's 100 points. You get as many points possible in the least amount of time. Ready, set, go.
Here's the good news. I got a pocket full of $100 bills, and that's worth.
Okay, this is your scavenger hunt. Like, actually do this. Find these things and give yourself points.
anything else around here on the list?
Non-U.S. currency.
I think it's like 60
Ton at
seconds.
home.
Well, that's not
here.
going to help
Doesn't
you.
count. Take a selfie with a family member?
I got a one thing here. Take a picture striking a one thing pose. That's money. I got that right now.
You got 30 seconds left. 30 seconds, get as many points possible.
Count it.
Got a picture of Gary and Mo. Is that anywhere on the list? I was not prepared for that.
You only get 1 point per pack
10
of
seconds
gum.
left, 10 seconds.
And I'm a gumball guy. Like, I got gumballs for
Really?
days.
I'm not a gum. I like mint. I've got
Three,
mints
I
upstairs.
like a
Two,
soft
I've got mints
gumball.
upstairs.
See, when gumballs get too hard, it just. Sorry, Jeff. You were saying.
You know what, Jason? I really appreciate you because you help people see the difference between a priority and a distraction.
Mark King is on assignment.
There we go. All right, folks, add up your points. And when you got your point total, go ahead and put it in the chat box.
Dude, somebody has 130 points.
569.
What?
Well,
Okay.
that Minion's an overachiever in everything, so that doesn't get.
Yeah, you just wait. 30,000. Stephen Gendel. 30,000. How many of you
Did
are
Stephen
immediate-
Gendel just come back from somewhere overseas and he's got a pocket full of non-U.S. currency?
His helicopter got close enough to shore.
45,000. Joe Ryan. How many of you are wondering or crying foul, wondering if they cheated? Yeah. So do me a favor, Joseph. Out of curiosity, put your answer in the chat box. What was your strategy? How did you go about getting 45,000 points in about 60 seconds?
Must be the chapstick king of Chicago.
That's right. That's right. Not paper clips. See,
Oh.
he turned his camera on. So Joseph, to be clear, how many different items did you have to go after to get 45,000 points? How many different items did you have to go after to get 45,000 points? I'm just going to tell you, he said 1. Folks, do me a favor. My wife says I'm a little bit slow. Remind me, what's the title of the book?
It's the one. I still don't get it. Land the plane.
It's the one thing. See, the Easter egg is if you just took your cell phone, put it on selfie mode and turned it on burst mode and literally took selfie after selfie after selfie after selfie, you would get extraordinary results. Here's why we share this with you. The number one lie of productivity is the lie that everything matters equally.
Wow.
Many of you, when I said ready, set, go, you just started taking massive action because you're a high achiever. And you were busy, but you were not necessarily productive.
Everyone wants you to say it again, Jeff. What was the misnomer there?
Which one?
You said the key to this thing. It's that you did one thing the right way.
Is that the number one lie is that everything matters equally. Everything does not matter equally. And that game is a reflection of our lives. Here's why we share this with you. How many of you know people in your world that are very much on a path to burnout? If so, put me in the chat box. Yeah. Anytime somebody says they're on a path to burnout, I know they're falling trapped to this number one lie. They're being busy, but they're not being productive. They're waking up, they're taking lots of action, going after as many different things as possible, looking up at the end of the day thinking, I was busy. What did I get done? Yet the thing we've learned from Gary is that it's not about looking at everything that's on your plate and saying, I have to get it all done. It's about viewing them like dominoes. Stand them up, line them up, and just whack away at the first one first. Because if you knock down the right lead domino, everything else becomes easier or unnecessary. So here's why this matters. You show me a person who's working long hours, who's working hard, but questions the results that they're getting. You show me a person that's on the path to burnout, I'll ask you to show me their calendar. Wow. And let's have an honest conversation about, is it reflecting a bunch of ways that they are spending their time, or does it reflect opportunities where they are going to invest their time? Now, out of curiosity, how many of you believe that your calendar actually reflects your priorities this week? Give me a number 1 if yes, give me a number 2 if no. And zero judgment, by the way.
Jeff, they'd all love you to share that slide again. I think they want to take photos and then do it at their office meetings.
We've got a lot of people who are going to be sharing this with their agents this week.
A lot of requests.
I got you. Here, screenshot. Here's the bottom line, folks. If you want to achieve extraordinary things, you have to be willing to do what ordinary people don't do. Because otherwise, extraordinary ordinary. The average person wakes up for their week, sees all the stuff that's on their calendar, they check their email, and the first request for their time, they say yes, they find a white space, and they plug it in there without any context of what actually matters most. We've got to change that. We've got to become the type of people who, first and foremost, have clarity on what matters this week. Like, I can tell you, I only have 3 priorities for this week, literally. And I've got more to do than 3 things, but I've got 3 priorities for this week. And it is that clear. Those are the 20% things that are going to drive 80% of the results. Everything else is everything else. And I just met with my assistant, and she's overwhelmed because she's like, you just don't have time this week. I said, I have the same 24 hours that everybody else does. Let's pull up the calendar and let's figure out what we're going to say no to so I can say yes to the things that matter most, because everything does not matter equally. So when you look at your time blocks, you've got to stop looking at your calendar like a bunch of stuff to do and start viewing it as an opportunity to invest. You're going to say no to something. Are you going to say no to what matters most or to what does not matter as much? Now, I'm going to share a quick story with you. FedEx is a client of ours, and we shared this idea with them. And Bob, who runs the airline technology division, they build all the tech that keeps the planes in the air. He said, Jeff, I have more than one thing. In fact, this is what my organization looks like. This is a real freeway in China. It's 50 lanes wide and traffic backs up for miles every single day. And then he asked the question, what's our one thing? And it was that car, to create the first paperless cockpit in the world. The worst part was it had been on their list for 6 years, just inching forward because of everything else they were saying yes to. So they asked the question, how do we make this our one thing? They did a GPS. Their team started doing 411s. Guess how long it took them to create the first paperless cockpit in the world, Jason, when they got started?
Less than 6 years.
How long? An hour.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So here's the
Quentin.
question. Are you more agile or less agile than a Fortune 100 company? Put your answer in the chat box. If they can realign their calendars so their people wake up every day saying, this is my one thing, and just knocking that domino down, shouldn't you be able to do it as well?
So powerful.
What becomes possible when you are clear on what matters most and your people are clear on what matters most? Anything. So how do you put this in action? Step one, I would strongly encourage you, because all leadership starts with self-leadership. Look at your calendar this week and ask the question, does it reflect my priorities? If it does not, you know what you need to do. And then cast the shadow with your people. Encourage your ALC to go about doing the same thing. Encourage those people to do the same thing, one domino at a time. And as you look forward to next year, we have to change the way that we view and invest our time. We have a framework for this. If you guys want to learn more about it, every year we do a goal setting retreat. Time blocking is a huge part of this. It's November 13th and 14th. Just email events@theonething.com. We have bulk tickets for you guys, so we can get you taken care of. That's it.
Jeff.
So give me some takeaways from that. And thank you for participating. I love seeing the stuff in the chat box. That is so great. I had to look up paperless cockpit, by the way. Who else had to do that? Because I didn't know what that was. Give me your takeaways. Give me one thing you took from that.
The best thing ever was how they readjusted that entire corporation to the one thing that had been on the books for 6 years. They finally focused it and did it in 2 weeks. That just really lit my fire under me. Thank you for that.
Love it. Awesome, Karen. Thank you. What else?
Be clear on what matters.
Yeah, if you don't know what matters, then how do you do that, right? If you don't know your priorities, then you can't prioritize them. You can't actually time block them. Take away and prioritize. Find and have our weekly daily one thing. Love that, Jonathan. Yes, thank you, Cheryl.
Not everything
Lisa?
is equally important.
What's that, Teresa? And then
Not
Michelle?
everything is equally important.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. What did he say? Everything, the misnomer, everybody thinks that everything matters equally, and it doesn't. I love that. Who else had one? Was that Michelle? Did I hear?
It was
Michelle?
Nicole.
Nicole.
Hey, so here's what I would say. This is one of the most powerful lessons that we can learn. If we watch this once or just listen to this information once, it will not sink in. Subscribe to the blog, listen to this frequently, keep reminding yourself that this is a priority and it will alter your life.
Somebody's passionate, so am I. Yeah, what you focus on expands. I love that. And it is true. It's a constant process of reminding. And those of you who are in Bold, this is going to be huge for you, because Bold is, you are going to be forced to do this, to be able to do what you're going to accomplish in Bold, and it's going to be a game changer for you. So the two things that I would say when he talked about the takeaway, and this changed my world. I always said that I was productive and, you know, I was great. I was really good at time blocking. And after I read this book, I rearranged my schedule and I got better and better. And it took me 3 months. It did take 3 months. Every week was an improvement, and it took me 3 months. And by the end of 3 months, my entire schedule had changed. And I was like a time blocking ninja master. So definitely do that. And if you need to go through the priorities exercise, there's a lot of great stuff in the book and then on the website, the One Thing website. And then lastly, another thing that's going to help you stay really focused and learn what your business priorities are is, I cannot stress enough. And the fact that it's going to be free, it's crazy, because we used to pay hundreds of dollars to attend this. And granted, it was live. The business planning clinic that's coming up, which is, they're doing a national business planning clinic, October 20th and 21st. It's on our calendar. Ray's been sending it out on Fridays. You must, I cannot stress enough what an incredible training that is and how that can get you started for your business planning for next year. And you have one of the best instructors in the entire country doing it, which is Gene Rivers. And anybody who's taken a class with him will tell you he's just a mind-blowing instructor. So attend that. If I'm going to tell you one thing to attend, go to that. Don't miss that. Okay. Great. That's what I have for today. Does anybody have anything else that we need to cover and didn't cover?
Yes, your one thing for today for the Maui
Oh.
game is don't forget to sign up for the installation event, which is happening
Yes.
November 5th.
November 5th.
Tickets are on sale right now. You can go to ramaui.com or log on to your Paragon and get tickets right there. It's going to
Well,
be a
thank
great.
you, Keone. And unofficially, because it hasn't been announced yet, you guys are in the know though, because this is the committee and Keone's your incoming president. We are, right, Latasha, can I say this? We are likely making a change that is exciting and great in the event. And this will limit the amount of tickets that we can actually sell. And we only have what, 50 left then? No, 40. I mean, well, 20, although if we push it, we can maybe squeeze in 50 more.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's only 50 tickets left for the whole membership. So just go and buy them. We're telling you right now, go buy them. Your ticket for the installation on Maui. Unless you want to fly over from the Big Island too, which we're happy to have you, or Kauai, if you're over there. It'll be a party. Okay. Awesome, you guys. Well, thank you so much. I'm going to let you go. It's 9:09. I hope you got some value from today. And I was excited to share some of that stuff with you. And thank you for your feedback on, and I'm always looking for feedback on how we can improve the value that we provide for you here and support. All right. Thanks. Have a good day.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you.